Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Gananaham Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamasravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anasrinvan Utibhiksi Dasadanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhirvajinivati Dhinama Vitrayavatu Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatyai Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Sashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopashantaye Yasya Dvirada Vaktradhyaha Parishadhyaha Parastatam Vignam Nignanti Satatam Vishpaksenam Tamastrayem Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Parasarya Vachak Saroja Mamalam Geethartha Gandhotkatam Nanakyanaka Kesaram Harikata Sambodhana Bodhitam Loke Sajjana Shatpadairaharaha Pepiyamanam Muda Bhuyat Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pradbhamsi Naha Sreyase. With Bhagavan's grace, we came up to Slokam number 13, when Bhagavan talks about the tamasic yajna. Vidhihinam Ishthanam Mantrahinam Adakshinam Sraddha Virahitam Yajnam Tamasam Parichakshate. Now Bhagavan taught us three types of Sraddha, three types of food, and three types of yajnanga. Now, three types of tapas. Tapas means purification. Okay, to put it in a simple way. Let's move on. Slokam number 14. Worship of the Devas, the spiritual practitioners, teachers and the wise, cleanliness, honesty and straightforwardness, celibacy, non-violence, these are the purifying practices for the body. Bhagavan is going to talk about the action. Karma is always mind, speech and body, right? So Bhagavan is going to talk about those three aspects. First he starts with the body. Okay? Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Saucham Arjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Shariram Tapa Uchyate. Very important. Follow this. Body, purification of the body. What are the things to be done? Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Saucham Arjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Saucham Arjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. Padangal are Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Saucham Arjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate. The purification of the body, tapas of the body. What are they? Deva, Devaha. Devargal are effulgent people. Effulgent people not living somewhere else. Even amidst us, there are people who practice spiritual disciplines, who basically the fundamental yardstick is they become more and more loving, less and less selfish, more and more selfless, more loving. The more loving you become, the more progressive you are on the path to the lotus feet. And so Devaha, Dvijaha. Dvijaha is another name given for Brahmins. And Brahmins are who's what? It's not born in a lineage of Brahmins. No, nothing at all. Nothing like that. Brahmins are Brahmam Acharati iti Brahmanaha. The person who is committed to and practicing and living and acting on the pathway to Brahman, always in keeping the company of Brahman, Bhagavan, that he is a Brahmin. Okay? So Brahmanas, Tvijaha. Guru, we have spoken about Guru many times before. Bhagavan is the only Guru, and then he comes in the form of in infinite ways. He can appear in the form of a book or in the form of a music, in the form of a human being that comes and tells you something that puts you in the pathway to the lotus feet. All these we must be eternally grateful for. But there is only one Param Guru, that is Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. But Guru is anybody who puts you in the Godward path in this case. Then Prajnaha. Prajnaha are exalted people who are well-read scholars, the teachers, and the wise people. Prajnaha, not only academic book knowledge, but Sravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, as Bhagavan says, not only the book knowledge, but also reflecting on that and putting those into practice, individual personal practice, and thereby realizing and experiencing the truth of those teachings. Those are the prajnaha. So pujanam, worshipping them with the body. You must immediately bend in front of them. Pujanam. Saucham, cleanliness. Cleanliness of the body is very important. Arjavam is a straightforwardness. There is no hidden agenda. There is no games being played. It is very straightforward. Like a way one child, newborn, small child deals with the people. There is nothing, no hidden agenda. There is nothing you want. Just giving and sharing love. Give and love and take and receive love. That's all it is. There's nothing more than that. So that is arjavam. That is straightforwardness. Okay. And brahmacharyam is celibacy. And ahimsa cha, non-violence. With our body, we should never hurt anybody. Okay, or anything for that matter. And so that is ahimsa cha. Shariram tapaha. These are tapaha uchyate. These are the purification processes for the body. Thus it is said. Deva dvija guru prajna pujanam saucham arjavam brahmacharyam ahimsa cha shariram tapa uchyate. Now comes very important about the purification of the speech. How we should speak. Number 15. Speech that is harmless, that causes no disturbance whatsoever, that conveys truth, that shares love and seeks welfare for others, and the recitation of the Vedas. These are the purifying practices for speaking. Anudvekakaram vakyam satyam priya hitam chayate swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapa uchyate. Anudvekakaram vakyam satyam priya hitam chayate swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapa uchyate. Anudvekakaram vakyam satyam priya hitam chayate Swadhyayabhyasanam cha eva vangmayam tapa uchyate. Padangal are anudvekakaram, udvekakaram, anudvekakaram, very important. Anudvegakaram, vakyam, satyam, priyam, hitam cha yat. Swadhyayabhyasanam cha eva. Sva adhyayabhyasanam eva. That's what it means. Cha eva vangmayam tapa uchyate. What are the purifying practices for the speech, for speaking? What is the tapas for speech? In Sanskritam, it's called the body related. It's called kayikam. Kayikam tapas. That is body related. This is vachakam, speech related tapas. And the next comes manasam, which is mind. Anudvekakaram. It should be absolutely harmless. What does it mean? Udveka means it creates something gets generated. Anudvekakaram means nothing gets generated. It should be absolutely like a gentle breeze that is blowing that doesn't disturb anything. Not even a blade of grass, not even a speck of dust it disturbs. It should be like that. You should never disturb. Okay, absolutely undisturbing, which means you should not harm the listener, you should not harm the speaker, you should not harm the environment in which it is spoken. Just imagine that kind of a speech, so loving, so soft, and so sweet. Vakyam means that speech. Satyam. Satyam means that is the truth. Okay? And the speech must always be truth. It must always convey only truth. Okay? There is no exception to that rule. There is no Absolutely, not even 0.1%. Should be always speak the truth. Okay? Priyam, it should be loving. It should be pleasing. And hitam means it should be beneficial. Priyam, it should be loving to the person being spoken to. Okay? That is how we open our heart. There is so much love bottled and imprisoned in our heart. We need to open that up. These are the practices we must practice. And by opening up our heart and speaking to somebody very lovingly, you become more loving in that process. Okay, Priyam. Hitam, it should be beneficial to the person that when your words fall on that person's ears, he must feel happy, he must feel benefited. Okay, it must benefit him in some way. Cha and Yat, which Svadhyayabhyasanam. That is, Swadhyayam is another name for Vedam. Okay, in Vedam has got several names associated with that. Each one describes one aspect of Vedam. Vedam means knowledge. That is something to be known. And Sva-adhyaya means something that is to be, Adhyaya means to practice. Vedam is something you have to practice by yourself. When you recite, when you learn Vedam, nobody can teach that to you. You have to sit and practice. So it's called Swadhyayam. Swadhyaya Abhyasanam. Abhyasanam means practicing regularly, reciting Vedas regularly. Cha eva, these are Vangmayam, associated with the speech of Vak. Uchyate, thus it is said. This is so important. With Bhagavan's grace, let me spend a few minutes going through this. This is in the spiritual journey, the first step of entry is the food. Okay? And that is, one has to understand that in depth, with clarity. It is not a simple matter of putting something in the mouth and going away. No, it is much, much more than that. And food is not related only to what you take through your mouth. It is something that you take in through all your five senses of perception. Each one is a food of its own. So we need to understand that in depth. That's the first step. The second, as a resultant of that, immediately following that, is vachakam, is a speech in the spiritual journey. If these two are properly practiced, everything else falls in line. Okay? So, anudvekakaram is very clear. Before speaking something, am I going to harm the listener? Am I going to disturb him in any way? Or am I going to harm myself or disturb myself in any way? Then don't speak it. Anudvekakaram. Vakyam. Satyam. So what is truth? Okay? And we know, our conscience knows what is truth is. So is there a thing called an ethical truth? Is there a thing called a situational ethics? Is that something that I can say something and get away with it when there is nobody else is watching? No, none of those things applies, because conscience, the witness, is there always. So when none other than Dasharatha Maharaja asked this question, so what is Satyam and how one should speak, a great Rishi teaches him. It's in Ramayana. Satyam bruyat, speak the truth, he says. We all know what truth is. Nobody needs to teach us that, okay? Every situation, individually, we all know what truth is, right? And so the second person may not know, but I know what is the truth associated with me. So Satyam bruyat, no exaggeration, no underselling, no overselling. State it for what it is. What is the truth? And anything that is not true, should not say it. Satyam bruyat. Priyam bruyat. Then the Rishi teaches him. Second thing is, speak it lovingly. Speak it pleasing, not pleasing, but lovingly, with love. Okay? Then third he says is, na satyam bruyat, na satyam, na bruyat satyam apriyam. Do not speak the truth if it is not pleasing, if it is not loving, if it generates some other problem, right? Do not speak the truth, keep quiet. Then the fourth one is, it says, priyam cha anrutam bhuyat. Even if you speak pleasingly, don't speak untruth. So these are the four things required here for Satyam. Priyam, speak very lovingly. Then all others are very clear, so I can move on. Anudvekakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat svadhyaya bhyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapa uchyate. So the third one is to the mind. How do we think? The practices of the mind. mental attitude of accepting everything as a gift of God, loving and caring mental disposition, silence of thoughts, self-control, selfless outlook in life. All these are said to be the purifying practices for the mind. So these are the practices we must do in order to cleanse our mind of its impurities. Like the way we wash a piece of cloth with a soap and then we do other things, we must continue to practice this. The one interesting thing about the spiritual practices, and one interesting truth about them is, unlike a piece of knife, then through repeated usage, it actually becomes dull and duller and duller and duller. These impurities, these practices, when we keep on practicing them, they actually become the purities I'm talking about. The impurities go away. The very practice becomes stronger and stronger by repeated usage. They do not weaken. They actually become stronger. So that's the thing. We'll move on to slokam number 16. Mana prasadaha saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samsuddhihi iti etat tapaha manasam uchyate. Mana prasadaha saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samsuddhihi ityetat tapo manasam uchyate. Mana prasadaha saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samsuddhihi iti etat tapo manasam uchyate. Padangal are manaha prasadaha saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samsuddhihi iti etat tapaha manasam uchyate. Mana prasadaha, prasada buddhi. Bhagavan taught us this in Sathya Yoga. In second adhyayam, so you can look at prasada buddhi. So important. Whatever happens, comes is Bhagavan's prasadam, Bhagavan's gift. And as long time ago, I learned from one of the discourses of Dayananda Saraswati Swami here, and also later on with at the feet of my own guru, Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, I learned something very, very interesting. So I'll share that with you. So when you go to the temple, you buy different things. You may buy bananas, apples, coconut, or whatever else. We buy different fruits and all that, and we do our archanai, and then priest does the archanai and brings back the plate with prasadam. Interestingly, what happens? I may have given a couple of apples. Let us say some apples there. I may get a mango back. We never know, or I may get a banana back. I never question it. I never say, I gave you this, why are you giving me something else, right? We take it as prasadam. That is very symbolic, that is physical and very symbolic of what is happening in our life. And Bhagavan gives us everything, whatever He gives, that is prasadam. We must accept it as that. Another example is, when you do puja in your home or home or whatever you do, you do so many different items, right? You may make different types of rice or sweets and whatever else. But then you go and offer it to a little bit of that as naivedhyam to Bhagavan. And when that is given back to everybody, you don't say take a little bit of sambar sadam or payasam or something. You say take some prasadam. So the prasadam is the what it is really becomes irrelevant. It actually vanishes. So that buddhi we must have, whether Bhagavan gives us a challenge or gives us fulfillment, gives us failure or success or humiliation or praise, whatever it is, these are the different varieties of His prasadam, that's all. So everything is prasadam. That attitude, that mindset is mana prasadaha. That can be cultivated and it can be strengthened. Saumyatvam, what is saumyam? It's a very loving disposition in the mind. If I have a perspective or if I'm inclined, have a disposition to really care for everyone and to really love everyone, what is the disposition? That is called saumyatvam. Okay, a loving and caring disposition to all. Then maunam. Maunam is not just a silence of the mouth, and that is absolutely wrong, because I can keep quiet, but mind can be completely agitated. So there is no purification of the mind that is taking place. What should happen is the thoughts, the mind must become still, and that requires lots of practice, and with Bhagavan's grace it will happen. And that is where the sattvic food becomes important, and taking the right approach, the balanced approach, all those things slowly becomes important in terms of reducing the agitation of the mind and making it a bit more calm and a bit more peaceful. Ultimately, will reach the state of Maunam. Atma Vinigraha. Atma Vinigraha is humility. It's not boasting oneself, not aggrandizing oneself, and being quiet, like the way the sun is. The sun is a fantastic example of Atma Vinigraha. It never advertises. It is just there doing its job. Okay? Whether you do it fantastically, whether you help a million people, it doesn't really matter, because the Bhagavan who's doing it all the time. So that self-control is Atma Vinigraha, that humility, right? Self-control against aggrandizing oneself, self-control against being selfish, that is Atma Vinigraha. Bhava Samsuddhihi. Bhava means, again, an awareness, an experience, a plane of experience, right? Suddhihi is purity. You all know that. Samsuddhihi is even more pure, the purity that you attain in the proximity of lotus feet. When you go to a fire, fire purifies everything, right? The closer you become, and or like a magnet, you can tell. The closer you become, magnet attracts it, right? So Samsuddhihi is the highest state of purity. And what is actually that kind of purity Bhagavan is talking about here is to really to have a selfless outlook in life. This is where the teaching of reducing one's selfishness and developing a more and more selfless attitude is very important. And this is all mind related. So these are the practices. Iti, yetat, all these, manasa tapaha. These are all tapas of the mind, the purification practices for the mind. Uchyate, iti uchyate. Thus it is said. Mana prasadaha saumyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samsuddhihi iti yetat tapo manasam uchyate. Slokam number 17. These three types of purifications, kayikam, vachakam, manasam. Kayikam, vachikam, manasam. The body, speech and mind. These three types of purification are practiced with committed effort and with supreme faith by people not desiring the results of their actions. And they are said to be, by elders, to be sattvic penance, sattvic tapas. So these three are the sattvic tapas. Sraddhaya paraya taptam tapaha tat trividham naraihi aphala kangshibihi. That we have seen before. Yuktaihi satvikam parishakshate. Sraddhaya paraya taptam tapas tat trividham naraihi aphala kangshibihi yuktaihi satvikam parichakshate. Sraddhaya paraya taptam tapaha tat trividham naraihi apala kangshibihi yuktaihi satvikam parichakshate. Padangal are Sraddhaya paraya taptam tapaha tat trividham naraihi apala kangshibihi yuktaihi satvikam parichakshate. Apala kangshibihi, without desiring the results of their actions, without not desiring the results of whatever they do. To do it as your duty, as worship to Bhagavan. With that attitude, yuktaihi, now that attitude has become yuktaihi because they become very skilled at it. Because of repeated practice, they become very strong in that attitude and practice. And they're committed to it. These naraihi, these people, these human beings, with this kind of attitude, with this kind of practice, without desiring the source of their actions, paraya sraddhaya, with the supreme sraddha, determination and commitment, taptam tat tapaha. These, what has just been described, the tapas, the taptam tat tapaha, the tapas that has been just described, the trividam, the kayikam, vachikam, manasam, the body related, speech related and mind related tapas, the purification process, or satvikam is satvikam, parichakshate is said by elders. Sraddhaya paraya taptam tapaha tat trividam naraihi aphala kamshibhir yuktaihi satvikam parichakshate. Now Bhagavan goes to Rajasic tapas. Slokam number 18. Penance, which is penance simply means purifying spiritual practice. Penance done with pomp and pride and with an eye on earning respect, praise and worship is not stable, does not last long, and is called Rajasic. Satkaramana pujartham tapo dambhena chaiva yat kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalam adhruvam. Satkaramana pujartham tapo dambhena chaiva yat kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalam adhruvam. Satkaramana pujartham tapo dambhena chaiva yat kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalam adhruvam. Padangal are Satkaramana puja artham tapaha dambhena cha eva yat kriyate tatu iha proktam rajasam chalam adhruvam. Satkaramana pujartham. There are three types of things that Bhagavan is talking about here. Now, Satkaramana pujartham. First is what we call as done with pomp and pride. Okay, and pomp and pride, the Bhagavan describes as the next word. So this is now Satkaramana pujartha means it is done with an eye towards earning respect, okay, and praise and worship. By when you do something, when the people worship you, people praise you, and people respect you because of all the yagam and all that you do, right? So with the desirous of earning people's respect, earning people's praise and worship by people, others, with that kind of desire, and also dambhena with pomp and pride, it is done. With everybody knows you are doing it, right? Dambhena, yat which kriyate is being done, that yat tapaha, which penance kriyate is being done, that iha here chalam, unstable, and also adhruvam means it does not stay long. It is not only unstable, it doesn't last long also. It is called rajasam proktam. It is called as rajasic tapas. Satkaramana pujartam tapodambhena chaivayat kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chalam adhruvam. Let us finish one more and finish the tamasic tapas before we close for today. Slokam number 19. Penance done with foolish obstinacy and with the objective of harming and destroying others is termed as tamasic. Muda grahena atmanaha yat pidaya kriyate tapaha parasyot sadhanartham va tat tamasam udahrutam. Muda grahena atmano yat pidaya kriyate tapaha parasyot sadhanartham va tat tamasam udahrutam. Muda grahena atmano yat pidaya kriyate tapaha parasyot sadhanartham va tat tamasam udahrutam. Padangal are Muda grahena atmanaha yat pidaya kriyate tapaha parasya utsadanartham va tat tamasam udahrutam. Muda grahena with foolish obstinacy, stubbornness. Atmanaha pidaya, and even even to the extent of, damaging themselves, okay, their own body. Okay, this is what Bhagavan said earlier. Their own body is being destroyed or being put into lots of sufferings and all that in that process. Atmana Pideya. What objective do they do this? Parasya Utsadanartam Va. They do this either damaging their own body and or for harming and bringing difficulties to others. Yat tapaha, which tapas kriyate is being done like this, that tapas tamasam udahrutam is called tamasic tapas. Mudagrahenatmano yat pidaya kriyate tapaha parasyot sadanartam va tat tamasam udahrutam. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Arihi Om. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Arihi Om.